Derek, what are you doing in my house?
Oh shit, you're home.
And you know what, better yet, what are you doing with my N64?
Well, I was using it to play the greatest game of all time, you know, Zelda, Ocarina of Time.
You watched the Watch Mojo Top 10 Best Games of All Time list, didn't you?
How'd you know?
Because there's no other reason you would think that.
Well, I mean, their lists are objective, and I always enjoyed the game before that, so is it really a wrong opinion?
Okay, first off, there is no such thing as an objective best list. And second, just because it's your favorite doesn't mean it's the best.
What?
Well, just because it's your favorite doesn't mean that it's the best game of all time. They're two different things.
What? How does that work?
Well, for instance, my favorite game of all time is Zelda Breath of the Wild, but I consider the best game of all time to be the original Mario Bros.
The original Mario. You think the first Super Mario Brothers is the best video game of all time?
Yeah.
That is bullshit.
Well, it's no less valid than your fucking argument about Ocarina of Time. If you can think that, I can think this.
Well, fine then, hotshot. Let's hear your argument. Let's hear what you have to say.
Alright then, get up from the chair. Let me explain myself.
I'm not getting up from the chair.
I wasn't asking.
Oh, shit! Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Point by Point, the show where I go point by point through a game and give you my opinion. I'm Point, and as the intro suggested, today we're covering the original Super Mario Brothers for the NES. So this game is one of the most important games in gaming history. If it wasn't for this game and the NES, gaming probably wouldn't be what it is today, because obviously after the whole crash of '83, nobody wanted to buy games anymore, and Nintendo came out with this goddamn masterpiece and fixed that whole thing up. This one's Duck Hunt on it. That's just the one I have. But what made me want to cover this game is the fact that, one, there aren't many actual just straight reviews of it on YouTube. I mean, I can think of a couple. Like, I know Some Call Me Johnny did one, and I know Exoparadigm Gamer kind of did one with his remake versus rebreak thing. But I'm just going to do a straight review and give my opinion on why, as the intro suggests, I think it is the greatest game of all time. So without any further ado, let's go. So, show footage of me putting it into the NES and turning it on and picking up an unplugged NES controller, and then cut the footage of it being played on the Switch. Now you know it's a YouTube review. Joking aside, let's hit start and get this show on the road. Doesn't get much more iconic than that. This is actually one of the only gaming things I've learned to play on the guitar. But the music is far from the only iconic thing here. This entire setup is iconic. The Goomba, all of the different blocks, the placement of them, the mushroom. It is all iconic as shit, and there's a reason for that. This first section was designed to teach you everything about the game. The first Goomba, you're probably going to run into him your first time playing the game. And the mushroom is purposefully hard to avoid, so you know that these mushrooms are good and these mushrooms are bad. It's absolutely fucking genius. This game actually introduced a lot of things that will go on to become Mario staples, like the previously mentioned Mushroom and Goomba, along with Fire Flowers, Koopa Troopas, Lakitu, Spinies, Bullet Bills, and above all, Bowser. Oh yeah, and this game also introduced the fucking Hammer Brothers, aka the bane of my fucking existence. These guys are the worst. They always spawn in twos on areas like this and throw hammers at you until they hit you. They do not give up, and I am frankly sick of dealing with them. I have been dealing with these motherfuckers since I was like 2 years old, and I have a serious vendetta against them. There are a lot of other things this game introduces that later went on to become gaming staples in general, like a running jump, being able to get a higher jump if you start off running. This game is also one of the earliest examples of what I like to call infinity loop, like in this section in 8-2, where I just kept dying and getting the one up again afterwards so my lives didn't go down. One thing about this game that people might consider dated is the inability to save, and while I do kinda see where they're coming from, the game was designed with the inability to save in mind, so it's not really much of a problem. And even if you do find the game hard like I do, there are methods to get back up to where you were.
One method is instead of hitting start after you die and having to start from 1-1 again, try holding down A and then hitting start. You'll be brought right back up to the start of the world you were at, saving you a lot of time. I personally don't consider this cheating because it does set you back a bit, which is a fair price to pay for having to get back up to where you were without replaying the rest of the game. So if you're going to do this, I won't judge you for it. There is another way though, and that is the warp zones. At the end of some of the underground levels, and in some other places, you'll find pipes that will bring you to later worlds. These are very debatable as to whether or not they're cheating. One reason for why they wouldn't be considered cheating is because they are found in the game. You're not actually putting in any codes, you're just finding them. It's like an Easter egg. However, you did not get to these levels legitimately like you did with the continued cheat, so it's a little more debatable as to whether or not this counts. They're not considered cheating in the speedrunning community, but there is definitely a debate to be had here. Something else worth bringing up is the Bowser fights. They're piss easy. You get to the end of the stage, jump over him, hit the axe, he falls into the lava, you go into the other room, Toad flips you off and you move on. The game also has water stages, but they all feel basically the same, and you end up forgetting they happened by the time you come to the next one. You're like, oh yeah, there's water stages in this game. Another nice touch is that all of World 3 takes place at night. I don't know why, I just found that really cool that they took one world and gave it its own sort of personality. Also, by the looks of things, Mario and Luigi have actually been doing their job here. Look at those pipes, and compare them to the other ones. You motherfuckers, you are just picking and choosing where you decide to do your fucking jobs. What the fuck just happened? But anyway, aside from that, I don't really know what else to say about this game. I said all there is to say. It's aged incredibly well. It's always a fun time, especially in multiplayer. I didn't bring up multiplayer in this, but the multiplayer is really, really fun. One more thing about the multiplayer though is whenever you're playing as Luigi and you get a fire flower, for some reason you turn into Mario. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, this game is on basically everything. It's on, it's on the Switch if you have the Switch online. It's on the Wii U. It's probably on 3DS. I'm pretty sure it's on 3DS as well. It's on a lot of different systems. So if you have some sort of Nintendo system, the odds are you could probably get this on it. And I 100% recommend that you do. It's an absolutely fantastic game. And I said, always a great time. And it's just something that everyone needs to have played. And that's why I think it's the greatest game of all time. It's timeless. It's incredibly important. That's one of the main reasons. This is incredibly important to the gaming industry. It saved the industry from death, basically. And this isn't a whole, oh, it's the OG, so it's the best kind of thing. It's also because of how well it's held up over the years. There are a lot of games from back in that time period, like Zelda 2, for instance, that just haven't aged all that well. But this game has aged like a fine wine. I genuinely don't know what else I can say. This game is absolutely fantastic. Anyway, before Derek comes back, I'm going to end off this video. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like. Leave a comment in the comment section below telling me if you agree and what you think the greatest game of all time is. And also your favorite. I said my favorite earlier, so yeah. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see y'all next time.